back to where we left. In this section, we are going to learn about range function. We are going to look into some of the problems in for loops, and then we are going to look into nested loops. In our last session, we talked about what is a loop, what are for loops, and tried to solve out some of the problems in for loops. Let's get deeper into for loops and try more complex problems. So let's take a problem statement where I have to iterate through a list and display even numbers. So this will be the problem statement for us, and we have to code out this. This is always possible through an iterator. Why do we need an iterator over here? Let's say we have a list. Let's say lst equal to, I'm going to take some random numbers. Let's say okay, I did a blunder. So let's write out some random numbers. Okay, and I have been given a task that I have to get out all the even numbers from this. So let's try with coding this out. So we have a list and I have to go through each and every element and check if that is an even number or not. If that is an even number, then probably print it out. Okay. So over here we need an iterator as we are doing the same task for each and every number. But before starting with the for loop, let's view into how to find out if a number is even or not. So let's say we have a number 10. If we do modulus 2, then we will be getting 0. Why? Because when 10 is divided by 2, the remainder is 0. If we do it the same thing for 9, we will be getting 1. So all the even numbers when divided by 2 will give us the remainder 0. So we can put a quick condition check that 9 modulus 2 is equal to 0, then it will be an even number. So this is a comparison operator. We are comparing with 0. So let's check it out for 10. 10 modulus 2. 10 modulus 2 equal to 0. Let's execute it out. So successfully it has been given that it is true. So this is the logic behind a number which is even and which is odd. This gives us a number value that is 0, 1, whatever it will be. So 10 divided by 2 gives us the remainder 0. Similarly, take any even number, let's say 20. 20 divided by 2, again it gives us 0 as a remainder, and any odd number will give us 1. So let's start with building up the logic of it. So I have my list. I need an iterator for num in lst. So what is lst? Lst is my list, and then I'm gonna print, or let's start with an if clause. If num, whatever number I'm getting, modulus 2 equal to 0, then print, I'm going to use an f string over here. So let's say num is even. Let's print it out. LST is not defined because I haven't run it out. Okay. So you can see that 12, 54, 8. Let me print out the LST also. Print LST. So these are all the numbers that are present in the list, and these are the even numbers inside of it. So 12 is even, 54 is even, 8912 is even, 7812 is even. All of the even numbers has been displayed out just by using an for loop. The same thing can be done using an for odd numbers also. If I want the odd numbers, I'm just going to change quite a few things over here. I'm going to change it not equal to 0, and I'm going to change it to odd. So these are the numbers which are odd. Let's combine both of them in a single place. So let's copy it out. And then let's write an else statement. If it is not an even number, then it will be an odd number. So I'm going to copy out this line, paste it back over here. So you can see that I'm getting all the even numbers and all the odd numbers that are present in my list using a for loop. Now let's look into one more problem. I have been given the same list has been given to me, and I have been given a task that I have to find the sum of all the numbers that are present inside the list. Okay, so the same thing we are going to do. For before that, we need a variable sum equal to 0 that will be storing out the values that are iterating one after the other. Then for num in lst, and inside of it I'm gonna write sum equal to sum plus num, and at the end of it, after it gets updated out of it, I'm gonna print using a f string, let's say sum equal to sum. Oops, I've missed out a single quotation mark. So you can see this is the sum of numbers. Now exactly what is happening? For this, let's start with a small list. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3 and 4. So the sum of it will be 10. So as we are getting, the sum is 10. Now what is exactly happening over here? So first of all, it is taking the first value from list, that is 1, assigning it to num, and then what we are doing in first iteration is, sum equal to, initially the value of sum is 0 plus, and what is the value of num? That is 1. So sum becomes 1. Now in the next iteration, that is in the second iteration, so sum equal to, what was the last updated value of sum? That is 1. So I have sum plus num. So 1 plus, and now what is the value of num in the next iterator? 2. So it becomes 3. Same thing in the third iterator, we have sum equal to 3 plus, and what is the next value again? 3. So it gives us 6. The last iteration gives us sum equal to 6. That was the last updated value of sum, and then we have the last number, that is 4. So it gives us 10. So our answer is sum equal to 10. That is how you dry run a code. So if you have any doubts in any sort of problems in any place, any time, then you can just dry run your code. Dry running your code is quite easy. You just have to go through step by step each value, each updation, assign it to value, and go to the next iteration. Now that we have gotten very much deeper into for loops, we have solved a lot of problems in for loop, looked into what is a for loop and why it is needed. Now let's look one last problem of for loop, that is based on dictionary, how you can iterate through a dictionary. So let's say I have d equal to, in dictionaries we have key value pairs, so I have key 1, then let's say value 1, and then I'm going to put one more key 2, and then value 2. So our dictionary has been completed. So yes, it's just fine. And if I have to iterate it, I can only iterate the keys of it. So print item. Okay, if you want the values, you can just do somewhat. Now, stir object has no attribute. The reason why it is happening over here right now is because when you are taking anything from D, that is, it will only take the key values first of all. Now, key values, what are those? Those are string values. So a string value has been updated to item, and then item has been printed out. Now, if you try to do item.values, it won't be printed out because string object has no string object has no attribute values. If we had a dictionary over here, dictionary key, then the case would have been much different. Now let's paste it back. Oops. Now let's let's write it back again and delete it out. So these are some of the common errors that people usually face. In the next video, we are going to look into nested loops and range. That video will be a continuation of this video itself. So let's jump back into the next video.